Okay, so I'm trying for like the sixth time. My computer really sucks, and this is one of the reasons why I haven't recorded recently. But I'm trying this for, I don't know, the sixth or seventh time, and the sun is almost going down, and I have this really good scene in the background that I've spoken about 5 or 6 times already. I got the light adjusted. I got the backyard there. So I'm going to try to do this, and hopefully I pray that this will work. So, readjusting. It's been really difficult readjusting in the beginning, and then it became easier. And there's just a lot of things that I want to share post physical travel, but continuing to travel hopefully spiritually and mentally, and to grow as a person. And I've made a lot of changes in my life here, which have been for the positive. I mean, I really feel like I'm a better person with each day, and I think that's one of the most important things. First, there's a couple of things that I wanted to say from Egypt, which I didn't say before, and that's, I actually lived with a jamaat. A jamaat is a group, is a religious group, and that was an interesting and a different experience, to which I hadn't been used, if I can say that without ending in a preposition. That's actually, that doesn't sound right. Which I hadn't been used to. That doesn't sound right either. But basically, I never did it before, and it was very interesting, and it was different. We had lessons twice a week. I didn't understand most of them, but just the whole culture of it. That's something, I don't know. I'm still thinking about, and it was a really good experience in that I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself and about these groups. And they're widespread in Turkey. They've been in the Muslim world at least, and I think in other places for a very long time, for centuries. And they've helped so many people, and they've also turned a lot of people away from certain religions. So there's pros and cons, but they are there, they have been there, and such groups, even though the same living style may not be the same, are spreading even more and more here in America in terms of Islam, in terms of tariqas as well. And so it's a really interesting thing, and I'm glad I got to experience that because it's becoming so much more important here. Another thing is using the left hand. It's really interesting because in Islam, you use your left hand to clean yourself when you go to the bathroom, and use your right hand to shake people's hands, to eat. There's a difference there. So in Syria, you don't hand food with your left hand. In Egypt, you don't do the same. I think I mentioned before, when I was in Denver, Colorado, at Friday prayer, someone wanted to hand me some flower oil, and I put out my left hand without noticing. It was very ignorant of me, and I was just not perceptive of it. And he just gave me this look, and he just waited so long, and then I looked back, and he put it reluctantly. I was like, oh my god, I had my left hand out. I should have had my right, and then rubbed it together and put it behind my ears. So there's this, I don't know, people are aware of this. Now in Turkey, it was right, people weren't. They'd touch food with their left hand, they'd hand you with your left hand. So it's just really interesting. Maybe it's just an Istanbul thing, but it is something I noticed. Okay, so I'm trying this out. It's kind of cutting up, but I have to record just a little bit and then stop, let it load for like 5 or 6 minutes, and then record a little bit more because my MacBook is just that bad. Otherwise, it deletes the whole event. It's crazy. So just so you know, that little quick explanation. And again, that's another reason why I haven't been recording so often, although I have been terribly busy as well. So, one of my first experiences here was I went to this nature trail on Pontiac Trail, which I found out, I don't know. There's actually a statue of Pontiac, and he's this native of this tribe that used to live around these parts where we now reside, and that trail was the trail, his sort of trail of tears, where they were led back and taken off their land, which is really, really sad. But I just wanted to bring it up because it is history, it is true, and it did just happen, not too far from here. And so I went on Pontiac Trail. I was driving on there, and there's one other trail there, and I was walking through it, and 30 feet away, coming out of someone's backyard, I see 3 deers, and they were white-tailed deers, or white-tailed, I don't know what they're really called, and they just ran by, and they were 30 feet away. And I was just like, wow, just 10 meters away, there they are. It's a metric system for some of you others. And I didn't know what to say. I just stopped, and I just looked at them and I was like, wow, this animal is so close to me now. There were squirrels there that were black, that were brown, and there's another one like gray, and I just saw these birds, and there were these bugs, and there were these different plants, and I just loved it because, as you can tell just looking at my backyard, like, Michigan is a very green place, and it was different from the place I'd lived in the past, and it was beautiful. It was really, really, really beautiful, and I saw water, and I saw just so many things, and it's just good to just sit down there and just relax and just, if you wait for a little bit, chipmunks start coming out because you're now no longer moving, and maybe they no longer perceive you as a threat. I don't know, but it was really nice. I liked it. And they were in someone's backyard, and I forgot that deer come in and out people's backyards here. Yes, for those who are abroad or in different places where you don't see that. Actually, just a few days ago, I almost ran into a person because I was driving at night, and then they suddenly stopped, and I suddenly stopped, and then I see right in front of their car, this deer runs across the street, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy, because they can kill you. They can kill you if you run into them. So I just thought that was so interesting. There's so many beautiful things here that I missed, and that I now further appreciate, especially in terms of nature. As I was walking out of the nature trail one of the days, I saw this old man whose hand was bleeding, and he had this trap with a raccoon inside, and he's like, he's just complaining and stuff. Pretty old guy, like in his 80s or something, and he was like, maybe you can help me, or maybe he has offered to help, or asked to help, or I offered to help. I don't know, but a friend and I, we saw him, and we're like, you need help, sir? And he's like, yeah, these dang raccoons, they keep coming to my house. And he's like, I would have thrown it in the lake. I was like, oh. He said he wanted to cut a hole open in the lake and throw the raccoon in there with the trap to drown it to death. I know, that's pretty horrible. Yes, that's really messed up. I realize that. But that is what he said. He's like, but these traps cost a lot of money. I was like, oh, interesting reasoning there. So I was like, dude, wait, don't drown him. Let's try to deal with this. He's like, they're crazy. They'll bite you. They're, nasty little critters. And so I picked it up, and I took it more into the little forest area. And then I asked him to open up one of the sides of the trap, which he did. And then all I did, because this raccoon was terrified, he didn't want to come out, all I did was slowly lean it over, and he slowly slid out, and when he touched the floor, he just walked off. That was all. And the man was bleeding because of the trap, not because of the raccoon, and he had like hyper, I don't remember what it's called, it's hyper something, but basically it means when you bleed a little bit, it starts to bleed a lot more. Not the very serious one where he's going to die, but it was like really bleeding from a little cut. He's like, don't worry, I have this, I'll take care of it at home. But thank you so much, fellas. It was me and my friend who helped. So that was an interesting experience. So that's a little bit about the nature. And there's another thing as well, and that's, the niceness. The thing that, before was so stereotypically un-American, I guess you could still argue it is after this story, and you'll see why. But you still have things like this that happen in America because it's so diverse, and you have so many people who come together in different cultures. And so, all these not only niceties, but like really good act. I mean, of course, it's not going to be like Turkey. I mean, the Turkish hospitality, but you do see them here. So I was going to East Lansing, which is about an hour drive away, and I still didn't have a cell phone at that time. So my mom was like, you got to get something. So they have these things called Virgin Mobile here, and this other company, I can't quite remember the name, but it's a little phone. You buy it from 7-Eleven for like $20, and it comes with maybe 60 minutes. It's just in case of an emergency, if I get in a car accident, God forbid, or something bad happens. So I'm able to call 911 and then call my family. Basically, that's the point. So I stopped by. And I stopped by a 7-Eleven close to here, and I get inside, and it's this Indian dude, and I'm saying he's Indian because I know we're all American. I'm not saying he's not American, but you have to know that he was Indian. I mean, he's originally from India. You could say he's an Indian American, but still he's Indian. I'm not trying to be racist here about the 7-Eleven. because there's a stereotype here in America, for those who don't know, that oftentimes the people who work at stores like 7-Eleven are of Indian or South Asian origin. And that's why you have shows like The Simpsons where Apu is the one who's selling, in case you wanted to know. There's other stereotypes like the Arab, person is the one who's working at a gas station. You have those, so just know I'm not trying to hint at that. He really was an Indian guy, and he was a very, very nice one too. I get in there and I ask him for the phone. The other phone, it wasn't there, so I had to buy the Virgin mobile phone. And this guy was just so nice. So I told him, my story, and I was just like, hey, just came back into town. I was in Turkey like a week ago. So obviously this happened, a bit ago. And I need this phone. I told him how it was, how it is, and I was like, I've been traveling and I don't have a SIM card and I just need something really quick. And he's like, this will be good for you. This guy sits down, he talks with me, he tells me about himself, he tells me about where he's from. I was like, this is so interesting, it's usually an in and out type thing, but everyone has a story. And if we just sit down and just listen to them, and it's a very interesting story at that. So I was like, this says I have to call this number because it won't work. I'm trying to register, it won't connect. He's like, use this phone. So he gave me the phone of the 7-Eleven. He's like, if someone just calls, give it to me. And I went through all the instructions for Virgin Mobile, and you have to answer all these detailed personal questions. I guess it makes sense because they don't just want a random person getting a phone. But I thought it would be quicker. I guess I was wrong. And so I'm answering all these questions, and then boom, it stops working. So I was like, ugh, I'm really sorry. Could I call again? And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. I couldn't open it, so he got a box cutter and he opened it for me. And then he threw it away from me. I mean, he was just helping me with everything, every step of the way. And the really interesting thing is, this wasn't just something he did for me. So many people walked in during that time. He's like, hey, how's it going? How's your this? How's your son? Are you still doing this? Good to see you again. Be sure to stop by. This man was really personal. I felt like he had a connection with all of his customers. It's something that I really, really appreciated. And similar to that lady at the currency exchange who was just so nice, even though she didn't even know me, this guy was also just really, really nice. And actually, I was just coming in right now. I was in my driveway, and my neighbor came out, and she was, I'm sorry for Americans who are hearing this and they're like, yeah, this is stupid, it's so normal. But, and she's originally from Colombia. Colombia is probably how you say it better. From Bogota, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, a little city next to there. And she was just telling me about her sons in Andover, and we were talking about education. I was like, I'm going into education. She's like, really good, we need more people. Because, they closed down one of the elementary schools here, and they want to make this mega high school here. So there's different things, and it was just good to talk to her and catch up and, learn about her culture, because she was talking about maids in Colombia, and I was telling her about life abroad and a little bit of my experiences. And even my neighbor across the street here, she was so nice as well. She's a very nice old lady. This one's also a very nice old lady. Lots of older people in my suburb here. And she was like, yeah, we should sit down, drink a cup of tea or something and just catch up because she hasn't seen me in a while. And she wants to know about the travels and stuff like that. And she's a really nice old lady. So she's not an immigrant. She's just white American, Jewish American. A very nice lady. And so there are just so many nice people here. And I feel like when I left, I forgot about that as well. Even though I would still say that this culture is generally more individualistic and not as community oriented as others, but you still find all of these people. You just have to search. You have to be a magnet, I guess, for these sorts of interactions, and they will come. I truly believe that they will come. And I don't know what to say. Like, the Indian guy was really nice, and it was very interesting because I was an English teacher abroad, and what he did was, as I was like working through these things, he pulled out a paper and a pencil, and he was like, tell me about Turkey. What were you eating there? And what I noticed was he was writing down the names of the fruits and vegetables. And I was like, that's so interesting, because he was learning English from me. And it was kind of like I was teaching him English for this. And I thought that's so old school. That's like you're teaching a skill or a knowledge or a trade to someone for something in exchange. So that's what I felt like it was. It was sort of like I was paying him for that use, which, you know, you might think that's, you know, he's making you do that. No, I loved it. It was great. It was totally cool and natural. You know, sometimes you don't need to use this paper money, which is not even backed by stuff, and they create it if you look into the banking system. But that's another story. It was just amazing. And then I saw he was spelling some things wrong, so I started writing them down. And he's like, tell me about some good dishes. And so I told him about stuffed grape leaves. I told him about stuffed zucchini. I told him a little bit of the directions. I was like, you should Google it because I'm not good. I don't know how to make these. And he was like, great. And I was like, you know, he's like, I'll have my wife, you know, look into that and make them. I was like, you'll really enjoy them. And I tried a little bit of the Urdu that I knew. And he's like, that's Hindi. Because sometimes they call it Hindi or Urdu. And he came from another place and they spoke another language. I don't remember what it was. He spoke like 3 or 4 different languages from there. And he's like, sorry, my Hindi's not that good. And so, yeah, for those of you who are stereotyping about Indians, they got a lot of languages there. A lot. I think like hundreds. Just a lot. I know one person who speaks a language that's only spoken in his village. Yes. And for those of you who are from here, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, so, gotta save. If only you knew what I was going through here in terms of the technical things. It's pretty difficult. And it's almost sunset. It's going to be sunset in 19 minutes. Hopefully I don't even take that long. 2 more things left. But basically, Islam in America. It's amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing. I really, really, really like it. It's so amazing. It's like Islam that I've never seen anywhere else. The speeches have been giving me goosebumps. Everything is just so different. The Friday prayer speeches, they're about real issues. They're about current events. People are connecting. I know they're not all like that, of course, in America. I know. But just relative to what I've been exposed to, just in terms of Islam, the discussions that I have about Islam, I really like it here. I really, really like it here. I mean, I don't know what to say. I just love it here. I mean, this is home. And I love all the other places, but ultimately this is home. I mean, in terms of like Muslim events, it's just overwhelming. There's just so many things for the youth, and this camp, and this retreat, and this dinner, and this fundraising event. I just can't keep up with it. And you know, in Syria, it's forbidden. It's forbidden to even meet privately in a house with 3 people to read a classical text on philosophy or logic or any of that stuff. It's illegal. In Egypt, you're not supposed to, you know, have all these events and stuff like that. In Turkey, it's looser, but I don't know. I have this shirt for the MSA, Muslim Students Association, and it says in many different languages. One had it in, you know, in one of those languages is Arabic, of course. And I didn't wear that shirt in Syria, and I wore it one day in Egypt, and everyone told me, they're like, you don't want to go to jail, don't wear that. And yeah, they're going through revolutions right now, or quote-unquote revolutions. I mean, read more into it, of course. Sorry, just adjusting the screen there. But, yeah, and many people are dying in Syria right now, so please keep them and all the other people in the world, you know, everywhere, in your prayers. But, yani, there's something about here in Islam in America that's so different. And yes, I'm in Michigan, and yes, that minister, you know, whatever his name is, who wants his 15 minutes of fame, who came to my state, who came to Dearborn, Michigan, who now for 3 years can't come near a certain road where there's a certain mosque because he wanted to burn the Quran, or maybe he did burn the Quran. Honestly, I didn't waste my time with listening to him, but I feel proud. I feel really proud to be an American, and I feel really happy with the circumstances. I mean, there's a lot of room for improvement. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of room for improvement, but I mean, we have it really good here. We have it really good here, and it's something we have to appreciate. It's something we have to further work on, because that's the whole point. That's the spirit of it. So I'm just really happy in terms of my religion. I feel very close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I feel I can discuss so many deep spiritual things with so many people, and there's just so many events and so many concerned people who are working hard to make the world a better place. And so in terms of Islam, you know, that's another dimension of readjusting and moving back. It's amazing. I guess the last one, I hope I can fit this in before this thing lags or breaks or something, is my own personal struggle. And this is something I've told to a few people. One person said that they have a friend who went to, I think it was Pakistan or something, for like a year, and was struggling with this as well. It's basically reconciling between sorry if that's annoying. Reconciling between the different tamams that are out there, because there's a tamam in Istanbul right now, and there's a tamam in Damascus right now, and there's a tamam in Alexandria right now, and because I spent time with family, there is a tamam in Berlin, and there is a tamam in London, and there's a tamam in Denver as well, because I went there, and there's a tamam in Dallas, even though I only went there for 5 days, and there's a tamam in Boston, and a tamam in Indianapolis, and even though the ones in America are closer to each other because I'm speaking in English and stuff like that, and London a little bit more, and Berlin was different because I spoke Arabic and German with a little bit of English. I mean, just the little German I know. Don't think I know like 2 words or something. But I have to reconcile between the different people that are out there. And then there's the tamam in Detroit, which is the tamam that I am right now with my family and with my friends and with people I meet in the street. When you're in a different culture and you're speaking a different language and you're eating different food and just the lifestyle is different, you can't help but be a different person. And this is nothing, this is not like something that is hypocritical. You shouldn't look at it like that. But even here in Michigan, when I hang out with different people, I speak differently. My vocabulary is differently. The speed with which I speak is different. The language, sometimes I speak with people in a different language. Actually, quite often I speak with people like in Arabic, for example. It's different. I mean, we're always, our context affects who we are, whether we like it or not, these external influences. And again, it's not to say that a person has a weak personality, or that they're being pressured, or that they're being a hypocrite, but rather it's just a natural occurrence, because the language, it affects how you think of things. I told you a lot about Arabic and how it has all these extra things that just change the relationship between speaker and listener, change the relationship between father and son. And Turkish does that with a random person, because you see a random person on the street and you call them abi, you call them older brother. That's already a significant change there in how society is sort of organized. So, in the beginning, I'll admit this is something personal I'm sharing with you, obviously, and I don't usually share such personal things through this YouTube vlog. But yeah, I mean, it was crazy hard that first week, because I'm like, this is not right. This is not right. This is not right. Everything I see around me right here, it's not right. There's something missing. I was still in Turkey, mentally, spiritually. But physically I was here, and ultimately I had to realize that, I'm not in Turkey anymore. I'm not in these different places anymore. I'm here. But I'll be honest with you, I still haven't fully dealt with it. And maybe I never will. Maybe it's a lifelong journey. It's that journey of self-knowledge, because I'm a different person, I feel like, in these places. Not so different or anything like that, but there's still a difference there. My group of friends is different. Just my jokes are different. My sense of humor, and I think my friends even have noticed that I'm different. So I don't know. It's just something with which I have to deal. And there's people in the background, even though I told them to be quiet for the filming of this. That's okay. But I'll just end on one point. The very interesting thing that happened is that, yes, so one of the things of living at home is that you have interruptions, so I can't even record a video anymore in peace and quiet, but it's good to be home. It's good to be home. I was talking about these different, just reconcile between them. I should just end quickly because I'm going to be interrupted again soon. Basically, I just find it really interesting how, this started as something that I was doing for friends and family back home, and I said anyone else who's interested. And those of you who started watching and started subscribing from different places in the world, or people that I met along my way, I mean, I've really appreciated your comments, and I've really appreciated your messages, and I've really appreciated your insight. And it's really meant a lot to me that you've taken the time to do that, and that you've accompanied me on that journey. And I guess I find myself, even though I am recording this for family and friends, and to put it out there as a record, as a part of history, because I am a person, you know, even though I'm nothing, you know, not George Washington or Abraham Lincoln, but each one of you is a part of history. But I find myself recording this now mostly for people who aren't here in Michigan, who aren't here in Detroit, but rather for people who are in other places, to keep up and share my reflections with you. And so I hope you benefited. Some people have already indicated, you know, where are more videos and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, I just feel like everything else right now is going to be mundane. I know that I'm going into education. I'm looking into different programs for that. I'm looking into different schools and different volunteering opportunities and working with youth, and I just love it, and opportunities are being thrown my way, and doors are opening, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's great, and I'm ever thankful for that. But you know, I did have a few plans to do some traveling and talk about that, and that may be in the near future, it may be later in the future, I don't know. I'm not offended if you know, take off your subscription or anything like that, so you should know that I don't take these things personally. But you know, if I can help anybody in any way, whatever way that is, I mean, some of you have already messaged me with some requests where you need help traveling or with Arabic or anything. Just shoot me a message and I'd love to help. And do keep in touch. Some of you have your own blogs, or whether it's written or whether it's videotaped. Send me something. I'd love to keep in touch. I'd love to keep up to date with what's going on, and I do to keep up with a few blogs when I find the time. It's been very busy. I think it will continue to be very busy, but I feel good. I feel good. Like I said before in one of the 6 recordings, and sorry if I repeated anything. Sorry, because I've been recording this so many times. It's been a little bit difficult and a real test of patience. But I feel really good. I've been taking a lot of positive steps here, and you know, I like this tamam, and I feel like every day is getting better and better. You know, what happened in the past happened. It's a part of who I am, and all these journeys and stuff, and your experiences make you who you are. And I feel like I'm heading in a good direction right now. I truly feel that way. And so, again, thank you everyone for watching, for your insights, for your comments. And just, yeah, I mean, I may randomly put a video up there if I see something interesting, but I don't know, a lot of the stuff seems boring to me now because it's just not, you know, it's America. But I thought a few things I could kind of contrast with my previous experiences. I've been rambling for a very long time. If you've been patient enough to see it this far, wow, I'm very impressed. Alright then, until next time, whenever that is, you know, after this video I'm going to make a prayer for everybody, and I hope you all stay well and keep well. Take care. Sunset's in 4 minutes or so, so take care, and as I always say, Assalamu alaikum, which in Arabic means peace be upon you. Take care, and bye-bye.